All right, let's get right into it. Welcome, everyone, to a very special explainer today. We usually spend our time breaking down complex theories and deep data, but today we're applying our analytical lens to something completely different. We're looking at the beautiful game, going wonderfully, horribly wrong. We are going to dive into the world's absolute most embarrassing football moments. We're talking about those incredibly rare, totally chaotic instances where highly paid, world-class athletes just completely forget how to score a goal, and instead ruin their professional reputations in a matter of seconds. It's a genuinely fascinating look at human error under pressure.
But hold on, before we get into the actual disasters, I need to establish the stakes for today's explainer. I'm issuing you a direct challenge, right here, right now. Can you watch this entire breakdown without laughing? Seriously. Try to get through all the structured chaos we're about to present without cracking a single smile. I mean, it sounds easy, right? But when you see the sheer absurdity of the physical and psychological errors we've documented, well, holding a straight face becomes a genuine test of human endurance.
And of course, there are ultimate consequences for this challenge. If you actually manage to sit through this entire explainer, watching these spectacular athletic failures, and you don't let out even a slight chuckle, well, science leaves us with only one logical conclusion. You must be a machine. You literally lack basic human emotion. And if that is the case, you need to confess it right down in the comments by typing, "I am a robot." So keep your focus sharp, lock in that poker face, and let's start the analysis.
Section 1. The biggest sitter fails, missing the unmissable.
So, in football, a sitter is basically an absolute gift. It's an open goal, no defenders, where scoring is mathematically easier than missing. Yet somehow, players find a way to defy the laws of probability. Just picture the scenario. The goalkeeper is completely grounded, totally out of the play. The net is yawning wide open, just 2 yards away. A gentle tap is literally all that's required. But instead of tapping it, the player approaches the ball and skies it straight up with incredible velocity. As the source material so perfectly puts it, brother, you just scored a goal on a satellite. You aimed for a net on Earth, but you somehow successfully targeted an object in low Earth orbit.
And honestly, this brilliantly illustrates the jarring disconnect between expectation and reality, right? You expect a highly trained, fully coordinated professional footballer, but the reality is a player completely tripping over their own feet, getting totally tangled, and collapsing before even taking a shot. It makes you, the fans, and even the referee genuinely question their credentials. Like, are we watching a multi-million-dollar athlete here, or just someone's cousin from the street who accidentally wandered onto a professional pitch?
So, the crucial point in our final sitter fail is the sheer miscalculation of force. Imagine a beautifully lofted cross coming in. All the player needs is a delicate, glancing header to redirect the ball into the net. Instead, they hit this massive zoom header with absolute maximum force. The ball launches over the crossbar with such ridiculous power that it essentially exits the atmosphere. Our analysis suggests that the ball hasn't just gone into the stands, it's theoretically landed in a completely different stadium across town. You wouldn't need a referee to find it, you would genuinely require a military-grade GPS tracker just to locate where this thing eventually touched down.
Section 2. Referee and commentary fails. Environmental chaos.
Okay, we're escalating the challenge now from individual player mistakes to complete environmental chaos. Because, when the players lose their minds on the pitch, that energy tends to infect the match officials and the broadcasters, too. Just look at this incredible breakdown of authority. The referee, the sole arbiter of rules and order on the pitch, suddenly becomes the victim of the match's chaos. We're talking about highly comedic moments where the ref takes a rogue ball straight to the face or completely loses his footing and just wipes out on the grass. The sheer confusion that follows is a complete masterclass in awkwardness. He's sitting there, utterly bewildered, facing this terrible internal dilemma. Does he blow the whistle and start handing out yellow cards to reassert his dominance? Or does he just stay on the ground and try to hide his physical and emotional pain?
Meanwhile, up in the broadcast booth, the environment is collapsing just as fast. We've documented instances where the commentator completely loses his mind. Instead of offering, objective analysis, they explode with unhinged, screaming excitement over a completely mundane play, reacting as if they personally just scored the winning goal in a World Cup final. It's a total software crash of the broadcasting brain. Someone perfectly summarized it as commentator.exe has stopped working. Somebody really needs to remind this guy to calm down, take a deep breath, and remember that he's just getting paid to watch, not play.
Section 3. Embarrassing celebration fails. Premature glory.
We're transitioning now from physical errors to psychological breakdowns. This is where the ego writes checks that reality completely bounces.
Let's break down the agonizing timeline of a premature celebration. It always follows this exact same psychological sequence. Step 1. The player strikes the ball, assumes it's going in, and launches into an absolutely epic, choreographed celebration. They're kissing the badge, sliding on their knees, soaking in the roar of the crowd. They feel like an absolute legend. But then hits Step 2, the devastating realization. They turn around, wipe the sweat from their eyes, and see the ball hit the post or get cleared off the line. It was never a goal. Patience is a virtue they clearly lack. Which immediately leads us to Step 3, instantly losing all your respect. The transition from supreme arrogance to total humiliation happens in about 1.5 seconds, and it is just a fascinating behavioral case study.
But wait, what happens when the goal actually does cross the line? You'd think the embarrassment is avoided, right? Wrong. In this scenario, the player successfully scores, but then instantly destroys their own legendary moment through catastrophic clumsiness during the celebration itself. They jump up to do a backflip or a famous knee slide, and instead, their feet just give out and they faceplant directly into the turf. You really have to ask yourself, looking at the mechanics of this fall, are we observing a highly coordinated human athlete or a professional whose actual job is walking on cartoon banana peels? All the grace of the beautiful game just evaporates in an instant.
And finally, Section 4, Bonus Meme Acting Moment, the ultimate dive.
All right, this captures the absolute pinnacle of the fake injury, the dive. The player feels a slight breeze from a passing defender and immediately launches themselves into the air, spinning 3 times before hitting the ground, writhing in completely fake agony. It is genuinely Oscar-worthy acting. The sheer dedication to the performance is astounding. Honestly, the only other place you witness this exact type of theatrical fake agony is in a household when a mom loudly calls her kid to come down and do their daily chores. It's just a brilliant, desperate performance to avoid reality.
And that brings us to the end of our analysis and the culmination of our challenge. We've systematically broken down the world's most chaotic football fails. We've watched players try to shoot balls into outer space, referees having existential crises right on the pitch, and athletes totally forgetting basic human coordination while trying to celebrate. So I have to ask you directly, did you survive? Did you crack a smile? Did you laugh out loud at the absolute absurdity of it all? Or did you maintain a perfectly straight face? Because if you didn't laugh after all of that, we really need to know, are you truly a robot? Leave your confession in the comments below. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. Keep your eyes on the pitch, and remember, no matter how bad your day at work is, at least you didn't miss an open goal in front of 60,000 screaming fans. Stay curious.